Hello, and welcome to another edition of Holy Week 2021. This is day 3, Tuesday, the Tuesday after Jesus made his triumphant entry into Jerusalem. Now, it's Palm Sunday. Yeah, he made his entry. Yesterday, on Monday, he came into the temple and asserted his authority. He turned over all the tables and the money changers and the people selling doves in the temple because they had taken the temple and turned it into a den of thieves. It was supposed to be a house of God. So he ran everybody out. And then the Bible says that the sick and the lame came to him. The blind and lame came to him and he healed them. And he healed the people. Now, and you know, the powers that be, they didn't really like that. And then the children were saying, crying, Hosanna, the son of David. And they really didn't like that. And they was like, well, don't you hear what the kids are saying? Don't you see what the kids are saying? And then Jesus was like, well, you know, it's written out of the mouth of babes, you know, perfected praise. He perfected praise. So, you know, it is what it is. But now we're into Tuesday. And this is, and this is covered in Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. And I'm going to do Matthew today. Matthew 21, starting in verse 23, to Matthew 26 and 5. It's kind of a long way, but here's him teaching in the temple. Jesus is teaching in the temple today. And it says, and now I'm reading King James Version, Matthew chapter 21, verse 18. And I'm reading here, he's coming back on Tuesday. Now in the morning, as he returned into the city, he hungered. And when he saw a fig tree in the way, he came to it and found nothing thereon, but leaves only, and said unto it, let no fruit grow on thee henceforward forever. Hello, Sandra, how you doing? Glad you could make it. And presently the fig tree withered away. And when the disciples saw it, they marveled, saying, how soon is the fig tree withered away? And when the disciples saw it, they marveled. They saw it. They saw the power of Jesus again. Verse 21 says, Jesus answered and said unto them, verily I say unto you, if ye have faith and doubt not, ye shall not only do this which is done to the fig tree, but also if ye shall say unto this mountain, be thou removed, and be thou cast into the sea, it shall be done. And all things whatsoever ye shall ask in prayer, believing, ye shall receive. And this is him walking in, and this is the very important. He saw the fig tree, and he went over for something to eat, and wasn't nothing there. And Jesus said, from this point forward, you will not produce any more fruit. And the disciples, they were like, wow, how did that happen so fast? So Jesus told them it's faith. That if you have faith and doubt not, you can do that too. But guess what? You can tell the mountain to be thou moved and to go cast thyself in the sea, and it will happen. But it takes faith without a doubt. And then it goes on to say, and Jesus, and when he had come into the temple, the chief priests and elders of the people came unto him as he was teaching, and said, by what authority doest thou these things? And who gave thee this authority? They're questioning Jesus' authority. And Jesus answered and said unto them, I will ask you one thing, which if you tell me, I likewise will tell you by what authority I do these things. Now they tried to trip him up, but Jesus said, okay, let me ask you this. The baptism of John, whence was it? from heaven or of men? And they reasoned with themselves, saying, if we shall say from heaven, he will say unto us, why did ye not believe him? But if we say of men, we fear the people, for all hold John as a prophet. And he answered Jesus and said, we cannot tell. And he said unto them, neither tell I you by what authority I do these things. Now Jesus, he just told them that they questioned his authority. Now remember, yesterday he asserted his authority in the temple. Well, today on Tuesday they questioned his authority and said, I guess we would. They say, who died and put you in charge? Who gave you this authority? And I'm just playing with words here, but here Jesus said, let me ask you something. Is the baptism of John, is it from heaven or is it from man? And then they reason, they're like, well, if we say it's from heaven, then he'll say, well, why didn't you believe him? And then they say, well, if we say of man, then the people are going to get mad at us because they hold John in such high esteem as a prophet. So they say, well, we don't know. They kind of went, we don't know. But Jesus, well, then I don't know either. I'm not going to tell you. If you can't tell me, I'm not going to tell you. Again, Jesus asserting his authority. Now, he's teaching in the temple now. He's teaching in the temple. So some of the things that he's teaching, and if you read, and I got the NIV version now, got it up. Technology is something else. Hello, Linda Davies. How you doing? Glad you could make it. And this is him teaching in the temple. He did the parable of the two sons. That the father and the man had two sons. He went to the first, his son, go and work today in the vineyard. I will not, he answered, but later he changed his mind and went. Then the father went to the other son and said the same thing. He answered, I will, sir, but he did not go. Which of the two did what his father wanted? So he taught this parable. Then he had a parable of the tenant. Let's do another. There's a landlord who planted a vineyard. He put a wall around it, dug a wine press in it, and built the watchtower. Then he rented the vineyard to some farmers and moved to another place. When the harvest time approached, he sent his servants to the tenants to collect his fruit. And all Jesus talking about the kingdom of heaven here and how he has set it up, but man don't want to do nothing. And it's free. It's free. Okay, he also did the parable of the wedding banquet. The parable of the wedding banquet. The kingdom of heaven is like a king who prepared a wedding banquet for his son. He sent his servant to those who had been invited to the banquet to tell them to come, but they refused to come. That's him saying the kingdom, he's telling you to come, but you don't come. He said, just come, but they don't come. They don't come. Then he did the paying of the imperial tax to Caesar. And this is a very important part of what Jesus is talking about, is that he said, well, is it right to pay tax to Caesar or not? Now remember, the Jews were under Roman rule. So they were taxed by the Roman Empire. So they said, well, is it right for Caesar to tax the people? And then Jesus said, give me the coin here. Whose picture on this? And on the inscription on there. And it said Caesar. He said, well then, give Caesar what's Caesar's, but give God what's God. So that's one of those key statements that are made, that we say, give Caesar what's Caesar's, but give God what's God. Okay? Then he talked about the marriage at the resurrection, when some of the Sadducees who don't believe say that there is no resurrection. And, and he talks to them about that. Then he talks about the greatest commandment. The greatest commandment when hearing Jesus had silenced the Sadducees, the Pharisees got together. One of them tested him with this question: Teacher, what is the greatest commandment in law? And Jesus replied, love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and all your mind. The first and the greatest commandment. And the second is like it: love your neighbor as yourself. And said everything hangs on that. So again, he's teaching in the temple, but they're trying to mess him up, trip him up. Then he talked about whose son is the Messiah. And then, they tried to get him and say, well, what do you think about the Messiah? Whose son is he? And they was talking about David, and they just tried everything they could. But Jesus still was preaching, teaching in the temple. And then in Matthew chapter 23, says a warning against hypocrisy. But he said the teachers of the law and the Pharisees sit in Moses' seat. So you must be careful to do everything they tell you, but do not do what they do, for they do not practice what they preach. And they tie up heavy, cumbersome loads and put them on other people's shoulders, but they themselves are not willing to lift a finger to move them. You know what they're saying is that the Pharisees, the Sadducees, and the scribes, they were putting all the pressure on the people, but not on themselves. Not on themselves. Hypocrisy. Hypocrites. We all hypocrites. Everybody's a hypocrite. I'm a hypocrite. And I tell the church all the time, I'm a pastor of a church. I'm a hypocrite. And if you say, well, ain't nothing in the church but a bunch of hypocrites, I'm going to say, yeah, you're right. Ain't nothing there but a bunch of hypocrites. You're a hypocrite too, so you might as well come on in here and be a hypocrite with the rest of us. At least we trying to work on our salvation. We're trying to protect ourselves against the wrath to come. And the only way of protection of that, and our only hope, is through Jesus Christ. Then he talked about the 7 woes to the teachers. He calling them hypocrites. He said, woe to the scribes, Pharisees, hypocrites. He was calling them hypocrites, that what they were doing, and you can go take a look and reading this, for time purposes. I'm just telling you what some of them are, but go back and read it from Matthew chapter 21 all the way to Matthew chapter 26, and you'll see all of what he's teaching us in the temple. The destruction of the temple and the sign of the end times. He said, and Jesus left the temple, walking away with his disciples, came unto him, called attention to the building. Do you see all these things? He asked. Truly I tell you, not one stone will be left on another. Everyone will be torn down. And this is Jesus teaching. This was the day that Jesus was teaching the people. You gotta, you have to make sure that that's a part of what it is on Tuesday. Tuesday is when Jesus really exerted his authority on Monday, but he taught with authority on Tuesday. So, he talked about the day and the hour unknown. That nobody knows the day or the hour, because you said if you knew, the question I asked, if you knew what day and hour that he was going to call you home, would you change the way you live? Well, let me tell you, that day and hour might be sooner than you think. It might be sooner than you think. Because a lot of people said that they were going to give their life to Jesus on Tuesday. Well, Tuesday made it and they didn't make it. They had the chance on Monday or Sunday or whenever. They had the chance, but they didn't do it. And this is Jesus teaching the people. And in Matthew chapter 25, you say the parable of the 10 virgins. 5 of them had enough oil in their lamp. 5 of them, I guess, lollygagging around, not paying attention. And then when the bridegroom come, they give up and they jump around trying to get oil to light the lamp so that the bridegroom can find them, and they ain't got the oil. Well, they waited to the last minute. And the bridegroom came and went and left them. So all of us got a chance. All of us got a chance. The parable of the bags of gold, where a man on the journey called his servants and trusted them with wealth. He gave them, gave one 5 bags, one 2 bags, and another one 1 bag. And they were supposed to do something. That's a talent. And they were supposed to do something with it that God gave them. And when the master came back, the servant with the 5 bags said, "Look, I doubled it." And the one with the 2 bags said, "Look, I doubled it." But the one with 1 bag, he said he put it in the ground and hid it. And the master came and said, "Look, you did not do anything with the gift I gave you. So I tell you what, you with the 5 bag, go get that bag from him and give it over there to him. Take it from him." So you got a talent. All of us got a talent. Let's use it to spread the good news of the kingdom. Because if we don't, he's going to take that talent from us. He's going to take that talent from us. Then he talked about the sheep and the goats. And he was going to separate the sheep from the goat. So at the end, when he comes back, he's going to separate the goats and the sheep. He put some on his right and some on his left. And he'll tell them that some of y'all, when I needed you, you weren't there. You weren't there. And then in Matthew chapter 26, we see the plot against Jesus. Matthew chapter 26, verse 1 said, "When Jesus had finished saying all these things, he said to his disciples, 'As you know, the Passover is 2 days away, and the Son of Man will be handed over to be crucified.' Then the chief priests and the elders and the people assembled in the palace of the high priest, whose name is Caiaphas. And they schemed to arrest Jesus secretly and kill him, but not during the festival, they said, or there may be a riot amongst the people." So they knew that what they were doing was wrong, but they would do it in the cloak of darkness. And I can tell you, whatever's done in the dark will come to the light. And I'm going to tell you this, when the light comes on, don't tell me what to look at, because all of it's, you get to see it all. Don't tell me to just look at the good stuff over there. You can't hide the bad stuff. One thing I said in Bible study is darkness cannot defeat light, but light can defeat darkness. Darkness has no power over light. Light has power over darkness. And if you don't believe that, go into a dark room and light a match. Or take a candle and go into a dark room. Go into a dark room. Darkness has to flee. Darkness has to flee. So that is day 3, Holy Week. Jesus is teaching the people. He's teaching the people. That's the importance of Tuesday in Holy Week. And Jesus teaching in the temple. And they're questioning his authority. Who is this that sent you? And all of this. And Jesus started teaching them about the kingdom and telling them they need to get right. That is Tuesday of Holy Week. I'm Reverend Dr. Jeffrey Goodine, pastor of Church on Wheels Spoken Word out of Orange City, Florida. And this has been another edition of Holy Week 2021, Day 3. May God have mercy on our souls.